You are Locked On Celtics Postcast, part of Locked On Sports Boston, on the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
Well, for the second time this season and for the first time on the road in New York at Madison Square Garden, the Boston Celtics dominate in all capital letters over the New York Knicks. Celtics never trailed Saturday night, win 131-104. The two victories against the Celtics, for the Celtics over the Knicks, I should say, this season by a combined 50 points. With that, we welcome you to our latest Locked On Celtics postcast. I'm Steve Lennox, longtime college basketball play-by-play announcer, former show host, satellite radio, and ESPN radio. Still to this day, do believe 100% Kevin McHale had a better cameo on the hit sitcom in the 1980s, Cheers, over Red Sox third baseman and Big League Hall of Famer Wade Boggs. You are locked in with the latest Locked On Celtics postcast, providing reaction to every Celtics game on the Locked On Sports Boston YouTube channel, as well as a Locked On Celtics podcast feed, which you know is free and available wherever you get your podcasts. With our latest Locked On Celtics postcast, we're going to discuss Jayson Tatum's night, went for 40. Celtics led throughout, never trailed, 2-0 on the season against the Knicks. We do want to hear from you, our everydayers and our first-timers. Join the conversation, watching live on the Locked On Sports Boston YouTube channel. Hit that comment button and join the Celtics conversation on this Saturday night. We encourage you to follow us with the Locked On Sports Boston YouTube channel. You can also subscribe there and also follow us on the X at Lennox on Hoops with questions, comments, or concerns. Our latest Locked On Celtics postcast brought to you by FanDuel. Right now, new FanDuel customers can get $150 in bonus bets if your first $5 bet wins. So let's start off. I think I have some street cred here with our everydayers on the Locked On Celtics postcast. I'm pretty honest. So within minutes of the opening tip at Madison Square Garden Saturday night, maybe within 20 minutes on the ABC pregame show, it's announced that Kristaps Porzingis is out of the lineup. Nothing against Kristaps Porzingis with this opening statement, but I said, you know what? And everyone in studio, Knicks got this one tonight. Take the Knicks, take the Knicks. No, just had a feeling. Just had a gut feeling, and I've got a gut. Just had a gut feeling without Jrue Holiday, without Kristaps Porzingis, the Celtics were going to take care of business. Did I think they were going to have a 30-plus point lead in the fourth quarter? No, I did not. Did I think they were going to lead throughout? In the third quarter, Knicks got it down to 3. Celtics got it back up to 19, went from there, led by 35 points in the fourth quarter. Outstanding. Porzingis a late scratch with an illness. Jrue Holiday missing his second straight game, still dealing with that shoulder issue. I do believe, I'm thinking right now at least, Holiday out through the All-Star break. Misses the game in Miami on Monday, misses the home game at TD Garden on Wednesday against the San Antonio Spurs. But the Celtics up by 17 in that first quarter, led by 11 after 1. Tatum, a couple of threes, 10 points. Celtics knocking down 4 threes in the first quarter. The Knicks were 6 of 23 overall from the field and 2 of 7 on threes in the first quarter. Kata had a rebound and a putback to make it 26-9 in that first quarter. The Celtics in the first quarter making 6 straight field goals at one point. Derrick White knocked down a 3. And how about Richard Jefferson? Luke Kornet, double-double. Had a dunk, plus 12 for the Celtics. And Richard Jefferson with Mark Jones and Doris Burke on the ABC broadcast. Are we going to have to talk about Luke Kornet all night long? Yeah. Yeah, because he's a big part of the Celtics and had a double-double. So, sorry, Richard. Sorry I had to talk about a guy who, normally comes off the bench but was in a starting role along with Al Horford. First time this season, Derrick White, Jaylen Brown, Jayson Tatum, Al Horford, and Luke Kornet. So, yeah, Richard Jefferson, you had to talk about Luke Kornet. You had to dig deep, perhaps, into your notes to talk about him. Celtics led by 18 in the second quarter. Tatum 16 at the half. Pritchard had a big second quarter off the bench. had a terrific game overall. All his points coming second and fourth quarters. Had 14 in that second. Celtics, 50% overall, 9 threes in the first half, 28-18 rebound advantage, plus 7 rebounds on the offensive end, leading to 12 second chance points. Brunson, 18 points for the Knicks and did most of his damage at the free throw line, 11 of 11 at the line for Brunson in that first half. Third quarter underway. Derrick White knocks down a 3, Tatum with a dunk. I'll tell you right now, I love when the Celtics get to that 30 mark with assists. There was a lot of ISO. Mark Jones did mention it in the second half. At will. The Celtics just kept getting to the basket. One-on-one situations. Now, the Knicks, I think, had a 10-0 run in that third quarter. Got it to within 3. Jaylen Brown had a turnover. Bridges hit a 3, a 3-point game. Tatum had a dunk. White fouled on a 3, knocked down all 3. Later in the quarter, Tatum was fouled on a 3-point attempt. White knocked down a 3 to get it up to 16. And the Celtics, Tatum another basket to make it 21 with the lead for the Celtics. Tatum, a 3, 19 in the third, 35 for the game. White had a big third quarter as well with 14 in that quarter. Tatum was 6 of 9 in the third and 2 of 4 on the 3-point line, 5 of 5 at the line. So they got to the lane. They got to the basket, had great finishes, a couple of hammer dunks during the course of the game, Brown and Tatum both. But the Celtics, Knicks got to within 3, and just like that, almost a blink of an eye, a 19-3 run, up 70-67, 19-3 run, up 89-70. That was all she wrote. Knicks never got back into it. Tatum, fourth quarter early on, knocked down a 3, a 7th of the game, and Mark Jones did mention it. And kind of hit on the point. I mean, he could have looked at the numbers, the game by game, and saw the Celtics' success. Could have mentioned that they had 30-plus assists against the Dallas Mavericks the other night, and I think they were 29-0. Last time they had 30-plus assists in a game and lost was against the Lakers February of last year. Again, we gave that note the other night from Dick Light, who does stats for NBC Sports Boston for Jrue Carter, Brian Scalabrine, and crew. Pritchard knocked down a 3, and the Celtics weren't done. At that point, Celtics up 22 in the fourth quarter, matching their largest lead of the game. Pritchard knocking down the 3, 16th of the game for the Celtics. And all of a sudden, you started hearing boos. But really, what they were booing wasn't the effort by the Knicks, and that would have been deserving. They were booing the let's go Celtics chance. Pritchard another 3. 117-90, 27-point lead, and they went on from there. Up 11 after 1, up 13 at the half, up 20 going to the fourth quarter again. Lead got up to 35. So let's go through this. I mentioned off the top, 50 points total winning the two games. 131-104 Saturday night in New York, 132-109 at home. Season opener seems like a long time ago, but 2 blowout victories for the Celtics over the Knicks on the season. I mentioned they led by 35, their largest lead opening night at home when they raised the 18th banner to the Raptors, the championship banner, led by 35. I know I'm giving you a lot of numbers here, but in the 2 victories against the Knicks, both games the Celtics had 35-point leads. 2 wins by a combined 50 points. They trailed in the first quarter by 1 point. Against the Knicks. You like the dramatic pauses right there? They trailed the Knicks by 1 point in the first quarter opening night. They did not trail after the first quarter. They did not trail at any point Saturday night. So the Knicks against the Celtics, they have not led at any point in 7 straight quarters. There's 2 more matchups, 1 more in New York, 1 more in Boston between the 2 teams, 1 more here in the month of February. We'll touch on that as well. But their largest lead against the Celtics this season, 1 point. Tatum, 37. In the first matchup and the season opener, 40. Second 40-point game of the season for Tatum. Enough of me. Let's hear from you. We got our everydayers here. PK Tattoos. Obviously, Tatum was amazing. White, Pritchard were great, but we got to give some love to Kornet. How about Neemias Queta as well? Kornet double-double of the starting lineup. It was going to be White and Brown, Horford, White, Jaylen Brown, Al Horford, and then drawing a blank here. White, original starting lineup was going to be White, Brown, KP, Horford, and Tatum. KP, again, late scratch, Kornet in there. First time this season, Tatum, Horford, Kornet, Brown, White in the same starting lineup. Kornet, 7 of 7, 12 rebounds, 5 on the offensive end. Had 3 block shots and 14 points, was plus 21. Kada, 26 plus minutes off the bench. 4 of 7 from the field. 3 of 4 at the line. 8 rebounds, 3 on the offensive end. Ended up with 11 points total. Be ready to go. Stay ready, crew. Outstanding. So PK tattoos here right there. Give love to Kornet. Kada too. Pritchard off the bench. Outstanding. I haven't seen that type of production from the bench in a while. And that was big time. Joseph, can they please play like this every game? And they did it without Jrue Holiday and KP as well. Joseph, we all want that effort. I mean, as sky high as Celtic fans can be right now after the blowout victory against the Knicks, you weren't down in the basement completely from the other night against the Mavericks. And Payton Pritchard did say it after the game. Hey, we've had some difficulty here in terms of coming off successful road trips and winning that first game back home. It's a tongue-in-cheek, sort of sarcastic, beware of the home team first game back. This has gone on for decades in the NBA. Many reasons why. I'll leave it to you to come up with your own explanation and conclusions. But Payton Pritchard, post-game comments a couple of nights ago in the loss against the Mavericks where, Dallas just blew him out of the building. Shorthanded and all. Joseph, you're not going to give that. You're not going to get it every single night, but yeah, you wanted it the other night for a 5th straight win. And if you had the effort tonight against the Knicks in New York, you're on a nice win streak right now. Instead, 5 out of 6. You'll take it. Colin checking in. Really easy not to see the forest from the trees through the course of the regular season. But I think we need to take a step back and realize we are witnessing the best Celtics of this generation. Colin, you know the old saying, agree to disagree? I'm not disagreeing with you. But anyone who wants to make an argument against could do that. But yeah, you're getting into it. And if they win a back-to-back championship or a second title in 3 years, absolutely your point is valid and 100% at that. But what they're doing, again, there's a frustration level to a certain degree right now with this Celtics team. Statement win from the C's, from Fat Man Olympics. Luke Kornet cooked tonight. Yes, he did. Again, from Fat Man. The Real Darrell checking in as well. The light switch is real. After the perfect road trip, you're thinking go home and beat Dallas. Depleted. No Anthony Davis. Debuted Saturday and apparently left the game. Got off to a great start. Did not read the story, just read the headline that, he left with a lower body injury. Tough to see. Paul checking in. Many mentions of Pritchard, 6 men of the year. Yes. Mark Jones, Doris Burke. Doris Burke, I think at the end basically said it's his award. Give it to him right now. Put his name on the trophy. There's still a lot of basketball to be played. Can you believe it, though? 29 games left in the regular season. Celtics, second time in 3 games, 21 games over 500. The Real Darrell. Celtics looking forward to the playoffs. Yes. They have nothing to prove in the regular season. Yes and no. Again, it's talking about that light coming on. Can they over the next 29 games play at a peak level every single night? That's not going to happen. You want them healthy, and you do want to see them playing winning basketball. I didn't do the numbers here. I had it the other night. 64 wins last year. You're not getting to that number this year, but 60 still possible. 64, not likely. Great win. Terrific win for the Celtics. And with the win, hey, you know what also happens? If the Knicks, and they alluded to it on the broadcast that I've been mentioning here on ABC with Jones, Doris Burke, and Richard Jefferson, Mark Jones. If the Celtics had lost to the Knicks, the Celtics would have had a half-game lead over the Knicks for the number 2 spot in the East. Now you're 2-0 against New York. Now you have a little bit more cushion. You're up 2.5 games. 15-1 now for the Celtics after a loss this season. Again, they have not lost more than 2 in a row at any point this year. They have 1 2-game losing streak. That's it. 5 straight on the road. And 21-6 now on the road for the season, and back to 21 games over 500. We're going to get more into Payton Pritchard and the bench in segment number 2, numbers of the night, more numbers of the night. We're going to throw those at you as well. Jayson Tatum, big night, 40 points in New York at Madison Square Garden. More of your comments as well. Keep them coming with us on the Locked On Sports Boston YouTube channel. Celtics blowout victory, never trailed, 27-point win at Madison Square Garden after winning on opening night by 23 over the Knicks. Celtics own real estate in the Knicks' heads right now? Chime in on that. I think they got them a little bit. We'll get more into that discussion coming up, segment number 2 as well. Glad you're with us, hanging out Saturday night. Celtics victorious on the road in New York against the Knicks. This is the Locked On Celtics postcast. Locked On Sports Boston, your team every day. Subscribe to the Locked On Boston YouTube channel. Again, that's the Locked On Sports Boston YouTube channel. We go on within minutes of the final buzzer of each Celtics game, hopefully deep into June, and the NBA Finals. Presented tonight by DoorDash. NBA fans, get ready. They swoosh, you save. Thanks to Dash Pass, every time a player drops 50 or more points in a game, you score a huge deal the next day. It's simple. When a player scores 50 or more in a game during the 24-25 NBA regular season, Dash Pass members get 50% off an order, up to $10 off the next day from noon to midnight. Here are a few ways you can take advantage of this deal. Game day feast. After an epic 50-point performance by an NBA player, celebrate by ordering wings, pizza, or burgers from your favorite spot delivered straight to your door. Late night cravings, whether you're saving up, watching highlights, or just need a midnight snack, use DoorDash to grab something delicious while saving big. Lunch on the go. Need a quick and easy lunch the next day with Dash Pass? You get your favorite meals with $0 delivery fees and reduced service fees. Plus, now you save even more with this exclusive NBA offer. You can sign up right now for Dash Pass, and you're going to be ready to save. When a player scores 50 or more in a game, Dash Pass members get 50% off an order the next day, up to $10 off. Just use promo code NBA50 from noon to midnight after a 50-point game on eligible orders at participating merchants. Must have an active Dash Pass account. Terms to apply. Visit DoorDash to learn more. How about the bench? Again, Kristaps Porzingis within minutes of the opening tip at Madison Square Garden Saturday night, out with an illness, non-COVID. Throw Luke Kornet in there. What does he do? Goes perfect, 7 of 7 from the field. Double-double, 14 and 12 rebounds. Brunson ended up with 36, 13 of 13 in the line, but I mentioned earlier, 11 of 11 at the line in the first half, got to the line just one more trip and 2 free throws in the second half. I may have said this before. I love Jalen Brunson as a player. He's outstanding. Covering the Mavericks a few years ago on ESPN Radio, on the Dallas Mavericks radio network, Brunson was there with Luka Doncic. Both are gone now. Brunson is a player that I absolutely love. But he really didn't get a whole heck of a lot of help. Karl Anthony Towns, almost 28 minutes, 3 of 8 from the field, held to just 9 points. The Celtics were connected defensively Saturday night. I use that word, but really, I mean, from the jump, Tatum a dunk and a 3 to get things going. Horford, a 3-pointer. Brown, a jumper. 12-2 start for the Celtics. Knicks opened up 0 of 10 from the field. And I think the broadcast mentioned it. I know I'm giving a lot of references here, but I was kind of locked into what they were saying. And they, again, Monday, I need Jrue Carter and Brian Scalabrine because it's been a couple of games. Had Celtics radio against the Mavericks third quarter the other night, getting back from a game that I was doing. But I need Jrue and Brian. I need Jrue Carter and Brian Scalabrine Monday night from Miami with the game. Because not that I was, disappointed. The Jefferson line that I mentioned earlier, we're going to have to talk about Luke Kornet all night long. Well, yeah, you did have to talk about Luke Kornet because it's a big part of the victory. And it wasn't in a reserve role. It was coming as a starter. Hey, Luke, by the way, KP's not available. You're in the starting lineup. You're going to be introduced. Here we go. Gave you a great effort, almost 29 minutes. And the Celtics ended up with 21 assists on 46 made field goals. 46 of 85, 19 threes, 49% on the three-point line. But again, in a playoff series, you want to tell me the Knicks are going to get multiple stops against the Celtics? They haven't done it in the first two games. Remember in game one of the season, 29 threes for the Celtics, and they're going for the record. I think they missed 13, 14 in a row to close out the game. And they took all those threes late in the game on opening night in Boston back in October. And they kept putting points up in the fourth quarter, led by 35. Ended up scoring 35 points in 35 points in the third, 35 points in the fourth quarter, 131 points, and a 131-104 victory against the Knicks. Now, spectators in the fourth quarter after the first few minutes. Brown played 7:29, Kornet played 7:29. Tatum played 3:11, got to 40, and his night was over. Knocked down a three and hit a couple of free throws in the fourth quarter. Derrick White didn't play in the fourth quarter. But the Celtics bench, they didn't take the gas. They did not take the foot off the pedal. They just kept pressing and pressing and pressing in terms of knocking down shots. They kept hoisting up threes. And I don't mind. Not at all. PK Tattoos. 10 people and only 4 likes. Come on, gents. Let's get that like button hit. The more of us, the merrier. Go Celtics. It's all right. We're building our numbers. It's all right. Saturday night. Bennett checking in. Bennett, I believe you're a first-timer, at least checking in with some comments on the Locked On Sports Boston YouTube channel. I believe you're a first-timer. If that's the case, thank you. Welcome in. Don't be a stranger. Beat him with the bigs in the first half. Yeah, and I thought about that of, the scouting report and everything. You're looking for Porzingis being out there. The Celtics like to get Porzingis going early, offensively, back in New York where he started his NBA career. But all of a sudden it's Kornet instead. Kornet brings a different energy. But if we're going to look at that from the Knicks' perspective and say, well, there's a late adjustment. No, you play the game. You play who's out on the floor with the opposing team. Colin. Good shout, PK. There you go, Colin. And the real Darrell. Go Celtics. But again, within the offense of what they did, they scored 30-plus in each of the 4 quarters. I do not believe 7-game series that the Knicks can shut down the Celtics offensively. Over the course of a game, you might get a couple of stops in a row, but are you going to get 4 or 5 stops in a row against the Celtics? They can beat you in so many different ways. And Jaylen Brown, it's not an addition to what he does on the offensive end, but where he's backing in a defender from the free throw line, might be at the elbow, and then all of a sudden a fadeaway, that's beautiful. I mean, he shoots that at a high percentage. Really does. Celtics win it big. Fat Man Olympics, one more. The Celtics shot a high percentage from 3 while the Knicks struggled. Yeah, and that's a lot of NBA games. Was this a matter of poor Knicks defense or just elite shot making? Both. And I think the Celtics were due for a night like this. But again, I don't think the Knicks have the capability of shutting down an elite offensive team for extended periods of time during a quarter, during clutch moments in a game, especially in the playoffs. I just don't see it. I really don't. Numbers of the night. coming up next. Celtics pick up the victory. 2 more before the All-Star break. With that perfect road trip last time out, I was thinking 4-0 to finish up. Lost against the Mavericks the other night. Now a victory. Go to Miami, beat the Heat Monday night. Not going to be easy. Home against the Spurs, first meeting of the season between San Antonio and Boston. Looking forward to that one. And then the All-Star break. But as I said the other day, the bags will be packed. Whatever, and it's not just the Celtics. Guys who are not going to the NBA All-Star weekend in San Francisco, don't check out until late Wednesday night. Get through the game. 3-1 to finish up. Would love to see it. Locked on Celtics postcast. Locked on Sports Boston, your team every day, presented by FanDuel. When the game tips off, the NBA action is just getting started, and there is no better place to get in on that action with FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. With FanDuel, you can place live bets throughout the game, so even if you miss the opening tip-off or you want to bet on the fourth quarter comeback, Knicks didn't do that against the Celtics, that's for sure, on Saturday night in New York. You can stay in the action. And if you're looking for a bigger payout, you can even combine your live bets into the same game parlay. With FanDuel, you'll love using FanDuel's live betting feature because it keeps every moment of the game exciting, whether you're backing your team for a late game rally or picking a player to hit a clutch three. You'll never feel like you missed your chance. Plus, the app is easy to use, and when you win, you get paid instantly. Right now, new FanDuel customers can get $150 in bonus bets if you place your first $5 bet and it picks up a winner. Just visit FanDuel.com to join today. That's FanDuel.com for your shot at $150 in bonus bets. Make every moment more with FanDuel, the official sports betting partner of the NBA. Celtics pick up the victory. Celtics numbers of the night coming up here in just a moment. But earn a hard-fought win. Second time this season. Tatum goes for 40 or more, 43 earlier this season. That back in December, just before the Christmas holiday. So he's gone for 40 or more twice this season. 7. That's one of our numbers of the night. Alluded to it earlier. The Knicks have not led at any point against the Celtics in 7 straight quarters. Their largest lead in 2 games this season against the Celtics won. That in the first quarter opening night. 35. Celtics led by 35 opening night, won by 23. 35. Celtics led by 35 against the Knicks at Madison Square Garden Saturday night, won by 27-50. Celtics have won by a combined 50 points in their 2 wins against the Celtics. Celtics will host the Knicks Sunday, February 23rd after the All-Star break, and then play at New York. I think that's the second to last road game of the regular season in New York against the Knicks on April 8th. 29 games left in the regular season. Close out at home. How about this? If you haven't looked that far ahead, just for curiosity, yesterday, took a peek at it. The Celtics close at home with 2 games. Their final 2 games will be at TD Garden, both against the Charlotte Hornets. Celtics almost hit the 23-point mark, did just short. But again, 21 games over 500, continue with the second-best record in the Eastern Conference on the season as well. What's ahead now? Pritchard doing a terrific job, scoring 20-plus in back-to-back games. He's got 16 games this season with 20 or more, and the Celtics are now 10-6 in those 16 games. 2 more, mentioned it before the All-Star break. 13 games before the All-Star break, 9 on the road, 4 at home. Now 1-1. On the road against the Heat in Miami Monday night, home against San Antonio on Wednesday. But right now, the Celtics are 8-3 in this current 13-game stretch before the All-Star break. Man, you almost wish, again, as high as you feel right now after the blowout victory over the Knicks on the road, Celtics have been great. The Celtics need to get a little bit more continuity and have that killer instinct. And again, they had it from the opening jump against the Knicks on Saturday night. So, 2 more. We will be on with you within minutes of the final buzzer Monday night with our latest Locked On Celtics postcast as the Celtics are in Miami to take on the Heat, and then San Antonio in Boston Wednesday night just before the All-Star break. And then the Knicks or the Celtics open up on the road in Philadelphia against the Sixers out of that All-Star break. I'm expecting, I'm not going to say it's definite, I'm not telling Joe Mazzulla and the Celtics what to do. I would anticipate Jrue Holiday not playing in the next 2 games. Get that shoulder right as best as possible. Dealing with an impingement, I believe it's in the right shoulder, so it's a shooting shoulder, and you want to get him right for after the All-Star break. You're not at the midpoint. That is in the rearview mirror. Celtics, again, 21 games over 500. As always, we thank you for participating with us on the Locked On Sports Boston YouTube channel. Subscribe to the Locked On Sports Boston YouTube channel. Also, give a follow on the X as well at Lennox on Hoops. Again, a tip of the cap for spending part of your Saturday night with us. A tip of the cap as well to our sponsors. Supporting our sponsors is supporting us with Locked On, DoorDash, and FanDuel. Again, we go live Monday night after the Celtics matchup in Miami against the Heat within minutes of the final buzzer. Locked On Sports Boston, number one place to hang out immediately after every game. Locked On Sports, your team, your defending NBA champion Boston Celtics every day.